Hey guys, it's Uygar. I'm here with Nicola and our guests Andrea and Martina. Welcome to our second episode of our football podcast.
Yeah, welcome. Today is a very special episode because we're talking to the organizers of the football and volleyball tournament that has just finished a couple of weeks ago. We're going to focus on football though because of the nature of this podcast, but guys, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having us. This honor.
Yeah, thank you, Nicola.
Martin, you're usually the host, but today you're the guest.
Funny, yes.
Today he's my partner. I'm stealing him.
Okay, so guys, first of all, let's talk about the thought process. What was the idea behind this podcast? How did you come up with it?
So I guess I'll start. If I'm honest right now, I came up with the idea of doing a tournament from you actually, Nicola, that you did the first time. I don't know if you remember, it was like a year ago something. It was a great tournament.
Thank you.
But it was a 1 week tournament and we lost in the final. You remember we got a terrible moment, even though you scored. So I was like, okay, I need to do something bigger. You know, I needed a cast project and I want to do something I do. But I knew I couldn't be alone in this. Therefore, I contacted my fellow best friend Andre with me right now.
Yeah. So both of us, me and Martin, were very interested in sports. Obviously, we have a passion for action, if you can say that. So basically, our goal with this whole project was to pursue our passion in sports and influence others to participate in a healthy lifestyle, encourage friendly competition, and practice our event management or organization skills that will be useful, obviously, later in life.
I couldn't agree more, and we also we think that football is a lot male-based, which is true. I mean, we play football every day at lunch.
Yeah.
Therefore, we wanted to include the girls in our tournament. We really wanted everyone to create that atmosphere, you know. Therefore, we created the volleyball section.
Yeah, that's why it's a VF league. It's football, volleyball, and football.
Yeah.
So we kind of separated into two tournaments with around four games per week.
Yeah, that's a very classy response.
Yeah.
What would you guys say were the strengths and weaknesses of both the planning process and the execution of both tournaments, both football and volleyball?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say overall, it was obviously a success. There was a lot of strengths. We got the players through forms that we sent out. We got team captains who were voted for by, so it's obviously a democracy around. And aside from that, there was some issues with the teams. For example, I would say Martin's team, the red team, was not exactly
The most complete team.
the most balanced. That they did have a blue team member on their side the entire time.
Like, you know that we had a blue team member because of
There was a trade or something. Right?
there was a trade, yes, and there was a lack of players on the red team.
No,
and
yeah,
there's
I understand.
too many players on the blue team.
That's a strength, though. That's what I'm saying. Our problem-solving skills.
Exactly,
We
problem solving
exhibited
skills.
that a lot.
And also equity, we make stuff very
Mhm.
equal, as we got a player from the blue team, but our red team in volleyball gave a Nicola
Yes, that's correct.
on the blue team. So
Nikola Bulatovic.
Nikola
Right.
Bulatovic, not you, Nikola. But,
I would say volleyball was rather weaker than football, however.
Why though?
Volleyball generally in our school, it's, I guess you could say, much less appreciated, and it's more so, how do I put this?
So it's
Less played.
the less of energy and passion. In a
Yes,
sense.
absolutely. So for the football, there was rarely an occasion where someone was missing or
Exactly.
who hasn't informed that they would be missing, so absent from school. But in volleyball, almost every game. Yes, especially after the first quarter of the tournament, almost every game someone was missing, and we had to find replacements really quickly, and it was a pain.
Yeah, we saw way more passion in football.
Absolutely.
As the footballers, we can call them this now, they were waiting for the games like a week before. For example,
They were
you're like, oh, we
anticipating,
can't wait to see the game, and for volleyball, if we forgot to send an email, which we barely did once in volleyball, it would have been a catastrophe because nobody would be ready. So
Even though we made schedules at the very beginning of the tournament, which were somewhat altered due to weather and all those other factors, still people barely referred to those when looking at the volleyball scheduling. And football, everyone was on time, everyone was there, everyone was waiting.
Because we had attached a numerical schedule starting on January 23rd until April 25th. Yeah, exactly. And We also created with Andre posters that we put all around the school with the match dates so that people would be informed around the school. You just said it. But overall, it was great success.
I would definitely say so.
How would you say? How did you divide your responsibilities between the two of you? Was it like both do everything, or did you have specific tasks?
I'm gonna answer this question, and I'm gonna say that.
I want to add something.
Okay, that's very nice. I was more focused on the football section concerning the emails, which was really the biggest attachment point, time consuming. And Andre was more focused on the volleyball part. He was always sending the volleyball emails, and I was always sending the football emails. It's just easier.
So kind of divided between the sports.
Yeah, but that was towards the actual games. In the planning section, I would say we separated the work quite evenly. For example, Martin, he created a schedule on the point scoring system, while I focused on I focused on the...
Yeah, what did you focus on?
I focused on the posters and the organization with Mr. Rob.
Have you guys received any feedback from students or teachers after the tournament?
Well, I think the best feedback we received is that the number of viewers was increasing with every match. I think that says a lot.
And also I had my CAS interview with Miss Madison, and she actually told me that the tournament was, of course, great, and that it's very important for this school, and that this school needed something like this, something to keep up, something happening.
Yeah. Shout out to Miss Madison. She was our referee for volleyball.
Yeah.
That's something we should add also, our organization for referees. We had to take care of that, obviously, as they were either sometimes busy or just weren't available due to, I believe, sickness. That was one time.
Yeah, but they were kind of always available.
Yeah,
especially Miss Madison. She was refereeing every single volleyball game, while football was divided into two.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Rory, he stepped in for volleyball once.
Also, once
never happening again.
And also what I found very interesting about your tournament, you sourced the medals and the trophies for the winners. How did that go? Did somebody help you, or is it schools, funds?
Well, we had a discussion with Martin's sister. She is the head of, she's the president actually of student council, right? And also we were in contact with Mr. Gareth, and we obviously are hoping for some kind of subsidizing of the funds, because those were our personal funds spent on that, and we are yet to come to a conclusion. However,
yeah, but this is a great
we are
platform for
receipts.
emphasizing such thing.
We're collecting receipts, and we will come for our money.
We will get our money back soon, council.
That's incredible.
No, yeah, normally, as what my sister said, she had a meeting with Mr. Gareth, the
supervisor of the student council,
exactly.
the deputy head.
Exactly, and we should get paid back. And for the medals in itself, we had the referee usually giving us the medals, which was very nice of them. Mr. Paul Britsford, shout out to Mr. Paul, probably the best teacher at KSIM.
Cannot forget Ruben Drake.
Yeah, also, but shout out to Mr. Paul, because he was really nice. He took the mic. He was very entertaining during the medals. He made it more important. Everybody got hyped up. He was also a great referee, and a great referee because he's from the red team also. But Mr. Ruben was also a great referee.
So you're saying that he was bought?
Exactly, we paid him.
That makes so much more sense now.
Now we're gonna move to the next section of our podcast, and we're gonna talk about the games that happened during the tournament. We have 3 players here who participated. Myself, I played for the green team. Nicola, he played for the yellows. And Martin, the captain of the red team, who won the tournament.
Captain.
Captain of the winning team, if I may say. We won a beautiful match on the final.
How the hell did that happen?
On paper, don't mention the hell word. Just on paper, I think we're probably one of the worst team. But you know what? We came back and we were one of the worst, obviously because of Andrea Maslovar. He's the worst player of the tournament, probably. No, it's all jokes. Shout out to you, Maslovar. You're a very good player. However, that game, I think we need to talk about it. The final, beautiful pass from Maslovar. Anastas scores, beautiful 1-0 to the final.
4-3 after some controversial decisions.
The goal you scored, Nicola. May I tell you that the goal you scored
was the luckiest goal of all times.
The ball goes in the air, and Anastas, from his water polo reflexes, decides to catch the ball with his hands, while there are no handballs. Therefore, they get a penalty and they scored last minute.
I will never forget Anastasi's face when he actually realized what he's done. It's like Martin, he had a great metaphor. He said it's like a little baby that breaks something and like sees his mom
Exactly.
coming in the room.
The look was extremely funny.
Yeah.
But apart from that, let's talk about the green team last.
The
What happened?
favorites on the paper.
Yeah. It was definitely a huge disappointment. We should have done better. We should have at least played in the finals. I think one of the biggest problems we had that we didn't have any permanent goalkeepers. Yuan couldn't participate in the second phase of the tournament, and we always switched our fourth player, which could have affected our game. But that's
Which is also funny because in the game for the third place, Andrea Masovar was that fourth player, so you lost.
Yeah. And shout out to Georgia for scoring very crucial goals and beautiful goals.
He was very important on the green team. We saw that, and
It's almost as if he trains football. Honestly, that's skill and talent.
which is funny because he actually trains football. But you know what? At the end of the day, when I'm looking at the stands right now, I think that at the end, the league we had last team was the green team.
again.
The green team was last with 7 points and 1 yellow card and -3 goal difference. With then the yellow team that was on the third place on the league, 7 points also, but 0 yellow cards and 0 goal difference. Then second team, the red team, and then the first, the blue team with 12 points, just crazy.
Andre, you are the member of the blue team and you're obviously supporting them. How would you rate their performance in the tournament?
Well, yeah, obviously I attended every single game, both volleyball and football, but more so we're talking about football here. I would say the performance was great, especially in the the longer league tournament we had. They did very well. Obviously, they won. I'm very satisfied with how my team played. I feel like it was a good representation of what I stand for. I'm not ashamed to be blue, unlike some people should be ashamed to be for red or something.
Yeah.
They did a good job. It's a shame about Rusgar, however. He had a good run.
About the yellow team, because I see everybody is scared about talking. I'm scared to talk about the yellow team.
No, I'm not. I beat them 2-0. I beat them.
Actually, before the tournament, I thought red would be the easy peasy game. Every single time we played 4 times, we lost 2, we drew 2. So yeah, my apologies to the red team. I think we were just too inconsistent. I was sometimes good, I was sometimes bad. Alexei was mostly good, but he was not too consistent towards the end. And obviously Sarp, the youngest player on the pitch.
But obviously Alexei, he had 6 goals and many assists probably.
Yeah.
Which is...
It was incredible to
He was
play
incredible.
alongside him, to be honest. Such a good player.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, I agree. Who would you think, guys, would be the best duo of each surprising duo? No, surprising duo from each team.
Okay, let's start with we got actually.
We got from your team who was the surprising duo. You can include yourself in.
So I think for some goals, Georgia and I collaborated a bit. I assist him quite I have 3 assists, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Which might not be that accurate, but sure.
Exactly.
I think he also assisted a few goals that I scored in the semifinals. So.
From the red team, there was really no duo that we can single out. I don't think they just work well as a team, but on their own, it doesn't really work. Why are you laughing, Martin?
Oh, for no reason, it's just a green team. They were very funny. But talking about the red team, if I go from my point of view, I deeply think that me and Anastas had a great connection. Anastas, he didn't want to play football. We kind of forced him. And at the end, he said yes.
And he scored a goal in the final.
He scored so many goals, I assisted him so many times. And what I really liked about him is that when we couldn't get under pressure, he would be the goalkeeper and do awesome passes to me on the other side while I was the striker, and I would control it and try to do something, which was so good. And yellow team, I mean, do we even need to say it? Alex and Nicola, that was a beautiful duo. They were incredible. And I would say that from the beginning of the tournament, until the end, except for Paul Rusgarda got injured, Marco and Rusgarda were very, very good.
I'd say the surprising duo was actually me and Marco, because everybody would think that we would work extremely well, especially in the finals, but we actually didn't work extremely well, mainly because we're similar types of players, I guess. But also I got injured, so it was not extremely accurate, but again, it was nice to play alongside Marco. It's just sometimes two positives don't attract.
Exactly, but then when you have a positive and a god like me, you just clutched the football match as the green team was losing.
And that's one of the deathly sins that you just said.
As the green team was winning 4-2 against the blue team, and I had to replace Rusgard for one game. Well, I scored 2 goals and then scored the penalty.
If we talk about the categories, who would you say that who was the best player, who was the most impactful player in a sense out of everyone? Would it be Marco?
I
In
think
the blue team, I think he's undebatably the best player. Would it be the best player on the best team in my team?
I think it's me.
Sometimes in the life.
No, I believe he was had great teammates, sometimes with a lack of passing. So when I played with Marco for the first time, it was amazing. I could have my full capacity and I scored 2 goals, but it wasn't even my team. But on my team, we were mainly focusing on defense. This was our strategy since the beginning.
To drag it to the penalties so you can win.
Everybody goes into the defense and then yeah, that's why I defended a lot on my team. I know people expected more of me offensively, but I couldn't just let my team alone in defense at the back. While me standing here waiting for an occasion that I'm maybe not going to score.
Okay, I guess that's it for this podcast episode. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Martin, for coming here to talk to us. It was a really nice talk. I hope you had fun organizing the tournament.
it was a pleasure, and yeah, see you soon.